Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining. This is Dasha with Stealth-ISS, and I will be talking about AI and cybersecurity and how it is impacting our environment around cybersecurity, businesses, and the future. What I will be talking about, a little bit about me, artificial intelligence, the description, what it is, how it is. I'm going to talk about red and blue AI. And then I'm going to do a deep dive into the good, the bad, and the ugly of AI and what it can do or cannot do to us, what to expect in the future, recommendations, and then some food for thoughts. And then I will be leaving it open for some questions. So a little bit about me. Who am I? I'm Dasha Deckworth. I'm the founder and CISO of Stealth-ISS Group. We've been in business for over 20 years, and all we're doing and providing is cybersecurity, risk, technology, governance, compliance. I'm a speaker. I'm also a service-disabled veteran from the US Navy. And one of the biggest projects that I've probably done over my career is implementing and helping implementation of NATO security standards and integration them into different projects, especially as new countries around NATO were joining. I have also been security officer and consultant for multiple casinos across the globe. As you can imagine, cybersecurity in casinos is pretty big. I have also been the CISO and security point of contact for the Olympics in 2016 in Rio and in 2018, where I have designed, implemented, managed the Olympic Broadcast Security Operations Center. And I've been involved in many security breaches. I've managed a lot of them, not just for the commercial side, but also for the federal side. Small businesses, large businesses, global enterprises across the globe. Over the last few years, and especially overseas, I have also been a key player in the cybersecurity, business recovery, business continuity, disaster recovery for smart cities, and still engaging on that, and also put together the entire incident response plan and training for North Texas Council of Governments, which if you're looking for some areas around cybersecurity and incident response plans, templates, feel free to Google it. It's available there, made for public for small entities to be used as templates. So let's talk about AI. What's the latest status? We keep hearing about ChatGPT, AI, automation, SOAR capabilities, autonomous cars, all of these things. But what does it really mean to us? Well, it looks like, based on the statistics here, it's been pretty much integrated into quite a lot of companies. 92% of companies that already have been sampled plan to use AI and machine learning in their cybersecurity capabilities and posture. 69% of enterprise executives believe that these tools that are being brought up right now will be able to help them defend against cyber attacks and hackers, internal and external. 51% of companies already have AI or machine learning in some way, shape, or form implemented for their environment. And 28% believe that automation jobs, or sorry, it's not believe, it's a fact, 28%, we had a 28% increase of automation jobs in the last quarter, which shows that even though it is automation, even though it is AI, we still do the human factor, and we will be looking at new skill sets across the industries to manage and implement and maintain these AI and machine learning technologies. So what is AI, ML, DL? What does that mean? And how do we use it? Well, in a nutshell, it's technology that demonstrates basic intelligence, ability to learn and make decisions based on the data that they have. I think probably one of the big things that we're all looking for is being able to reproduce what we as humans can do, be able to perceive things, take data, analyze it, and make the correct decision. AI and ML gives us new insight into knowledge, into data, usually a lot quicker than we as humans, even regular computers, would be able to process and make use of it. It definitely helps us to, well, improve human intelligence, or at least gives us the tools and the data to make the right decision. It certainly does process huge volumes of data, which allows then, if it's machine learning or deep learning, to take the necessary actions, or at least give us humans the insight a lot quicker and better than we can so far without AI or ML, and be able to make decisions at the right time really quickly. And of course, it does orchestrate and automate. So it finds data, it analyzes it, it sees what it does, what it could be, how it could be improved, what could be gathered out of it. And it can automate a lot of the functions that usually are manual that we as humans have to do, which means especially around cybersecurity and incident response, the automation allows us to react quicker, or the system really for that matter. So let's talk about AI-related terminology and concepts. So AI, artificial intelligence, is pretty much a lot. It is really everything that we have around us that has data, that analyzes data, reviews data. The machine learning piece, which is a subset of AI, is really where the machine itself is able to extrapolate from the data what it should be doing, how it should be doing it, and the next step. So pretty much automation right here. And then the deep learning, which is another subset in AI and also in machine learning, is where the technology itself automatically learns based on maybe previous instructions or similar behavior of what it is supposed to be doing. So almost automated or autonomous learning, really. It relies on its own previous behavior, its own data, and takes the necessary steps without having it programmed by us humans. So this is where we really want to go, and deep learning, this is where technology is going. This is what we will be expecting. And there is already deep learning out there, for sure. It is somewhat restricted, but definitely in the next few years, we will be expecting to see a lot more. So let's get to the good part. Let's talk about the good in AI. So what benefits does it give it to us? Actually, quite a lot. It helps us with protection of data, of systems. It helps with the remediation, especially if you take a look at the tools that we have in the IT world today. We have next generation firewalls. We have next generation antivirus. We have EDR, XDR. All of those things come with AI to automate a lot of these things, to analyze the data and be able to automatically remediate it. Data or AI actually becomes more intelligent over time, especially as we start thinking about deep learning. That is where the intelligence comes in. That's where we can let the machine or the system run by itself, and it learns without our intervention or only minimal intervention, and knows what to do in what cases. AI certainly helps us identify unknown threats. You know, with antivirus, it's the old-fashioned way. We had signature-based. If you had the signature for malware, you could identify it, no problem. If it was a 0-day, it was more difficult. But now with AI, it really analyzes the behavior of machines. Maybe a couple DLLs that pop up here and there, maybe user behaviors, all of those. It does not require a signature. It really takes a look at all the different components and sees, okay, this is suspicious. This could be something. What about large volume of data? mean, we are interconnected left, right, and everywhere. We got IoT devices, we got Fitbits, we got Alexa, we got smart computers, we got smart coffee machines, all of those things. Now, this is just in your home, but think about if you're managing, let's say you're a city and you're managing traffic volumes and you're collecting the traffic around a city and how many cars, how many things, and you have to then make decisions. How long is a traffic light going to stay red or green? When is it going to turn over? How are you going to divert traffic if you have an accident? All of these things are based usually on data. You need to process those quicker. So AI really helps with a lot of quick processing of data. It definitely helps us to protect ourselves better. It saves us time. And it also actually takes some of the tedious and sometimes mundane work from the workforce, which means the workforce itself can focus on something more satisfactory, something more fun, something different than really doing the important but boring work that can be automated. And it certainly helps with human errors. We all know we're all humans, we make errors. Hopefully AI will not do that. Yes, it is not 100% proof, but so far we have definitely the statistics to show that human error is minimized. And the good thing, especially looking at it from a cyber professional perspective, there will be new skill sets that will be required from us. Definitely in the cyberspace, definitely in the IT space, but also in many different areas, manufacturing, business analytics, statistics, maybe economy. I can't think of one single industry where AI will not be used. So this definitely has a potential to change really quickly for the good for us. But there's also AI cybercrime. So AI is used in cybercrime for us. Red AI is what we call the cybercrime. We definitely have seen over the last couple of years attacks that are being performed using AI, which means they're quicker, they're better, they sometimes go undetected because they can adapt. Some of them actually use deep learning, which means they program themselves to get undetected or stay undetected in an environment, even though there is a security tool in place. And it's really difficult for us as humans to manually identify all of these threats or all of these malware that are being used with AI. One of the reasons for that is they're not necessarily signature-based. They morph, they change. Just because you have a ransomware or malware rootkit today, it might, a few seconds later on a completely different computer, might look completely different, thanks to AI. So using AI in cybercrime, it's considered the red AI. And of course, you got the counterpart to it, which is what we call the blue AI, and that's defensive artificial intelligence. It's really the autonomous defense systems to help protect our systems and to help identify the red AI and the cyber crimes and the malware and really protect each other and counteract. So red AI, I mean, there's cybercrime in general has been increasing over the last few years. We've all seen it. We see it in the news. We see it in the breaches that hit the news. We see it with cyber insurance companies increasing the rates. We see it with standards that are being changed, requirements for businesses and various industries across the world are being increased just to avoid or minimize the risk of an attack. So where is AI being used on the red side? So you got a lot of malware creation. There's customized and undetectable malware that's being used with OpenAI. And it's morphing. As I said, just because it looks like it is today, 5 minutes later, it can look completely different. Even if the security tools have a signature or are able to identify a particular malware. If it morphs, it's going to look different, very hard to detect. We've seen advanced spear phishing. You literally have text to speech. You got AI that is free out there on the internet that you can literally type in any sentence, any words, and pretend you want Joe Biden or any celebrity or any person to say that. It will say it identical to it. So just imagine how you can misuse it. We have people that, or scammers that use those tools to call up companies, pretend to be the CEO, which sure sound like it, and ask for wire transfers somewhere else, ask for passwords, ask for access, ask for all sorts of things. And it's really hard to detect. Is it a robot or is it really the right person? We got smart botnets or zombies. A few years ago, we had rootkits and malware that sat there and eventually was communicating to a command and control center. So at some point, it was quite easy to identify where the bad traffic is going. If you suddenly saw on your log files that you were, or your systems were communicating with China or Russia or North Korea, very likely that you had something that in your network that that shouldn't be there. Today, with these smart botnets, it's really difficult to see that because they no longer communicate with the command and control center. They're self-learning. They're communicating where they need to. They take what they need to, and they don't need a controlling command center. So it's really difficult to see them. We've also seen breaking of captchas or multi-factor authentication. It's AI can do that. We've also seen poisoning machine learning engines, and this is probably one of the biggest risks, and I will talk about that a little bit later. The problem is if you provide an AI the wrong data, corrupted data, missing information, it will not be able to make the right decisions based on the wrong data. So wrong input in, wrong output out. And then we've also seen conditional or condition-based cyber attacks. You've all probably heard of blockchain or smart contracts. All of this is blockchain is pretty much based on the previous action being verified, and the next action can only be used with the action previously. In a nutshell, basically, conditional cyber attacks pretty much pretend and misuse blockchain capabilities to pretend that they are legitimate service or legitimate transaction and are faking themselves believing that it is legit. So we've seen that. So in other words, even blockchain based smart contracts, you can no longer trust. So let's talk about the blue AI in cybersecurity. We've been using it a lot. You've got all sorts of vendors coming out there that are implementing AI with different security tools or in different security tools with analytics, with automation, especially around endpoint protection, around SIM capabilities, incident response. And that's pretty much what a lot of companies are implementing already. But then are you going to have a AI arms race? Just like Russia and US during Cold War, we're going to have red against blue, and it's going to be AI, the bad one, the red one, trying to do cybercrime, and you got the blue one trying to defend against the red. Question is, who is going to win? How is that all going to play out? We don't know. But one thing is for sure, over the next few years, we will be needing money, expertise, processing capabilities to automate all this, to improve it, to secure it, implement it in different areas, in the businesses, in our daily lives. And of course, all of that will be accompanied with big access to big data and data that we're collecting and storing already. And one of the some of the technologies that we're already having today, or AI will be coming out on the good side, is malware detection, anti-spam. We got IDS, intrusion detection prevention. That is already in place. Vulnerability management, already in place. You got user and entity behavior analytics, especially around XDR solutions, SIM or other security tools. You have that already built in. You got cyber threat intelligence feeds that come from all over, that have the intelligence, the threat information, all of that. And the endpoint security tools are being provided with that data to make the right decisions. We're starting to generate new honeypots, no longer the old-fashioned ones where you have a honeypot user and a honeypot file or a honeypot server. These are going to be continuously changing. They're going to be different. They're going to adapt based on what the AI, the red AI, the cybercrime, or the rootkit or malware is trying to do. And we're already getting into automated pen testing. And I'm not talking here the automated pen testing where you just hit a button and it does it. These are AI automated pen tests that actually will learn from the systems, based on the tools, based on the configuration, what is possible, what not. And it will also be able to detect what security tools do you have in place. For example, if there's a Defender already on the machine and the pen test tool is seeing it, it will then automatically, with deep learning and AI, will be hopefully, or is already to some extent, bypassing these security controls and trying to be undetected. And of course, we got risk reduction. I mean, this is big. It's all about risk today. We're all trying to minimize it, not just in the IT world, in our business world, in our daily lives. And definitely AI going forward will be able to help us with that. So now let's talk about the bad and the ugly. There is always a good side and there's always a bad side to something. So I want to spend some time to talk about the different risks and the worrying trends that we have in the industry. So it's a good thing that everything's automated, and it's a good thing that we're relying on technology, but us relying on machines to think for us is not always a good thing. China is expecting to overtake the US in AI. What if China breaks our system, or North Korea or Russia or any adversary or hacker, really? What if our systems go down? How are we, even today, just using our smartphones, our gadgets, everything that we have? What are we going to do without it? One of the other worrying trends in AI is we have limited standardization and frameworks around it. How are they being built? What data will they be injected with? What capabilities are we going to allow AI to do, and for what purposes? We also don't have adequate protection or security standards around AI. Obviously, these are machines, these are automation tools. And as I said earlier, if we input wrong information into those machines or teach them the wrong things, this can backfire. So we need to make sure we protect our AI, our systems, and the data associated with it. Lack of ethical standards around development. The people that are developing it, is somebody checking them? Are we checking our AIs before it goes out on the market, or will be used in real life scenarios against backdoors, malware, any kind of anything that can be misused? How about the usage? Where are we going to use AI? Is at some point, are we going to have AI to make a decision on us and our health, who gets the medication and who doesn't? because of a certain age or geography? How are we going to use that? So I think overall, the ethics standard is quite big. And one of the other problems is also AI as a service. If you go online today, you can Google it. You got AI as a service popping up left, right, and everywhere, especially with ChatGPT now. Everyone can use it. Yes, there are a few companies, and there's also some countries starting to control it a bit of who can access it. But overall, if you are a malicious threat actor or trying to do something bad or trying to do some research, ChatGPT AI can give you probably the answers. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be a script kiddie. You don't have to have a PhD. You can just ask AI or ChatGPT, hey, please write me a malware that does this and this and this and this and this and this. And it gives you the instructions, can tell you exactly where to go, what to do. It is there. Now, the good thing is, especially ChatGPT only has been fed with information that is up to 2 years old. So nothing latest and the greatest, which I think is a good thing because we could easily misuse ChatGPT very quickly and could be very easily misused for the wrong reasons and for the wrong purposes and the wrong actions by just about anyone if ChatGPT would have current and up-to-date information as it is happening. So let's talk about dangerous AI. And I mentioned that a little bit earlier. I mean, obviously, there's AI that is being developed, and then there's AI that eventually makes it out into the public. And you got different risks. You got external risks, you got internal risk, you got deliberate actions, not so ethical people. I talked about those earlier. We're talking about hackers, criminals, military, corporations, governments, maybe psychopaths, who knows? But this all gives us a risk for security in general. Side effects of poor design. We all make mistakes. We're humans. AI is not developing itself. We're still touching it. We're still creating it. There could be bugs in there. There could be wrong data. There could be wrong goals, wrong processes programmed in there. And that could have a huge effect on safety. We got all sorts of errors and cases that could have issues around how AI is impacting our environment. For example, using AI in environmental controls, temperatures, watering, light traffic in smart cities, for example. All this has huge risk on safety and security. And then the other thing is runaway self-improvements. We already have technology. I believe it was Google or Microsoft, one of those two, not too long ago, actually developed 2 different AIs to talk to each other. And they very quickly developed their own communication language that we as humans or as engineers were not able to understand. And that went really quickly. So suddenly we got AI, especially if we go into machine and self-learning. What is it going to do? Are we going to be able to stop it? Are we going to be able to control it? And that then becomes really an issue of safety for all of us in our daily lives, not just businesses. So let's talk about it. What are the security domains where this could all fall in? I mean, I've talked a lot about IT around business, automation, everything that we're doing. That's all good. Everything digital security. So against humans, using voice recognition or using text to speech AIs that mimic somebody. We've got those. It's already happening. Vulnerability discovery. Yes, we got tools out there that discover vulnerabilities on any assets. We've had those for decades. But now we got, again, suddenly AI that will not only be able to discover, but automatically exploit them. And then we got risks against AI systems. As I said earlier, wrong input, wrong output. If somebody gains access voluntarily or on purpose or accidentally, does something to the data, deletes pieces of it, or mistypes something, or even the program or a process in the AI itself, guess what? Suddenly you've got an AI that believes the road is here and not over there. And if that AI is used in an autonomous vehicle driving down the street, and suddenly the wrong data is being processed and fed into that autonomous car, guess what? The car suddenly will be driving not on the road, but somewhere else. And that is a safety issue. Physical security. We got drones and robots. I mean, right now we got, especially over in Asia, we got robots in restaurants, at the airports. They're all connected to somewhere. They're not 100% bulletproof and secure. Misusing them for something, there we go. Repurposed drones. You got the commercial, you got military drones. You got the ones that are delivering food, medication, critical supplies to people in cities. Using those, you can take over drones and robots and target them to do something that is not the purpose, but some could even be a terrorist attack. You never know. And political security. You can use it against governments, profiling, surveillance, manipulation. Let's just think back a couple years during the last election in the US. Everybody was saying, hey, Russia is manipulating the elections, and there's a whole bunch of chatter on Facebook with people disagreeing and agreeing. And guess what? It came out that a lot of these people on Facebook or on social media were not actually people. There were social profiles created by AI acting as human beings just to convince people of a certain political opinion or start a word fight or arguments in public on social media just to divide the people. It is being used. We've seen it before, and it will be happening going forward. So who could be an attacker? Pretty much everyone, really. We got militaries developing cyber weapons, robot soldiers. We've got governments that really use, they try to control people. They take down other governments or try influence social media with, or even news with wrong information to just put a little bit of unrest in the people, in the society, to maybe stop believing in the government. We got corporations. They're trying to get monopoly. The corporations are big on money and profit. They might be looking at destroying competition. We got the hackers. They want to steal information. They want to get, they want to destroy infrastructure. They got, I mean, there's different ways. You got doomsday cults. They believe the world is coming to an end and they're going to want to take everybody down with them. You got psychopaths. They just want to do some damage to go down in the history as somebody who's done something major. No rhyme or reason. They just want to be out there. And of course, you got the criminals. They go after the money. They want to, maybe they just want to prove something. They want to punish an organization, maybe, or most of the time they just want to get the money. But basically, with AI as a service, online, ChatGPT, all these tools publicly available, pretty much anyone can be a potentially bad actor. So how is AI and ML being actually used to weaponize? So I've mentioned already, we got reconnaissance. You can not only start reconnaissance on people, you can start reconnaissance on shipping, on people behavior, traffic behavior, military behavior. You can use it to actually neutralize off-the-shelf security tools. Talked about the red and blue earlier. You can install or use autonomous agents that do not have to contact a command and control center overseas somewhere. They pretty much can do harm on their own. You can do the conditional attacks using blockchains, pretending, hey, this is legit, and people will believe it. You can use AI to create deepfake data. Deepfake data is pretty much putting wrong information in, putting misinformation into the data, and pretty much expecting or trying to get a different outcome, a different result. Better malware, it's already happening. Poisoning of data sets, the same thing, false control results. Password guessing and capture crack, we already have that. Weaponizing AI frameworks to go after different systems. They may be used for different autonomous behaviors, or for example, for autonomous cars or for critical infrastructure management. Machine learning enabled pen test tools. Those pen test tools that are pretty much identifying on their own what is happening, what they need to do to stay undetected. And then, of course, misuse and hack our virtual assistants. How many of us have Alexa at home? I know if you ask Alexa, hey, give me the shortest route to from home to school, if Alexa has the wrong information, maybe not much is going to happen to you if Alexa gives you the wrong info. You might get there maybe a bit too late, but overall, it's not really going to be that critical. Now, if you ask Alexa to purchase your medication and it orders something different and you think it's the right thing, that could have a huge impact on you, your family, your business, anything. So you got to make sure you trust Alexa as well. So let's take a look at one example around deepfake. So we've got, let's say this is a political example. We got 3 states. State A, first one, hires a proxy hacker to use machine learning and to launch deepfake videos depicting a senior military command of the second state, saying that they're trying to launch or do a preemptive strike on state C. Now, state C gets that footage that gets deliberately put into their data by state A. State C thinks, oh my God, state B is going to attack me. So of course, they're going to raise their alerts. They're going to go on preemptive strike. And then state B sees that suddenly state C is doing something against them. They're going to start a war. And then suddenly you've got an escalation. Why? Wrong data. You've got senior military commander pretending to say something. You've got a picture from him. You've got maybe a video that is on YouTube. Suddenly use AI to put a voice to it, put a sentence to it that was never said, and put it in the data or in the machines or on system that state C is using. Another issue is also with image classification. I mean, we got, especially around smart cities, we have smart cities, we have camera systems, we have traffic systems, we got facial recognition at airports. Now imagine we've got self-driving vehicles. And of course they have cameras, so they look for people, they look for signals, stop signs, all of these things. And they use images, what it looks like. Now imagine this right here. There's a picture of a panda. The AI, the same picture, AI has a confidence that that picture right there of that panda is 80%, or AI is 80% confident that this is a panda. Now suddenly, somebody comes in and adds some pixelated pictures on top of it, infiltrates or puts additional pixels into that panda picture. For us as humans, it's still going to look the same. It's still going to be a panda. But the AI suddenly is going to see that, hey, this, I'm 95% confident that this suddenly is a car. Now imagine what's that going to do to your autonomous car. Same thing with the stop sign. An AI can recognize a stop sign if it's a correct picture. Suddenly you layer on top some pixelation, that stop sign is going to look completely different to the car. It might look like a green light. And then just imagine what can happen then. So where is that going to take us all in the future? So in the past, we've had signature detection, we got multi-DMZ firewalls, we got virus, antivirus malware. We pretty much, on the IT and cyberspace, we're looking for what we know is bad behavior. We're looking for the bad. In the future, we're going to use AI for real-time security operations. We're going to do adaptive simulation. We're going to have behavior modeling. We're going to use AI for data privacy protection. We're going to have smart architectures where suddenly DMZs and VLANs are being created ad hoc and traffic rerouted as needed to avoid a malware or avoid an attacker. We're going to have AI deception technology. We're going to have AI that will be protecting and looking at hardware to make sure that nothing in the hardware itself is hard-coded in there that will allow or could allow a hacker to misuse that hardware. Basically, going forward, we will be looking at good behavior or known good behavior. So instead of looking for the bad stuff, we will know what is good. Everything else will be bad. So all of that comes with a risk. So one of the things that is really important for all of us, business, the IT industry, researchers, company that are involved in these areas with AI, is we've got to learn on how to protect this. And especially the cybersecurity community and the standards community is going to be critical to really understand, verify all of these things. We're going to need red teaming to test the AI. We're going to need a formal verification of the code of the system, just like we're currently doing with anything that is being developed. It goes through QA, it goes through security, it gets user tested, it gets scanned for risk, it gets pen tested, and then it goes into production. We're going to have the same approach here for AI. We will have to develop a system where any kind of AI vulnerabilities will be disclosed, publicly disclosed, that companies using AI will be able to be aware of those, patch those. And we're going to need security tools and hardware to run AI on it, but also use it to protect our AI systems with it. We're definitely going to have to use openness model around what are the risks as something comes out. What are the risks with this AI putting it out into the public? So let's take ChatGPT, for example. It was released. Pretty much everybody can use it. Now, has anyone ever thought about what risk that is? If you release that kind of tool, that kind of know-how to everybody, you can literally ask ChatGPT to write you a malware, to write your codes, to do all sorts of bad things. give you the instructions, tell you where to go, what to find it, where to get the videos, all of that. Much, much better than Google, if you Google something. So has somebody thought about all these risks? Is there going to be some kind of control around it? Who's going to control it? And the other thing is all about policy and technology. How are we going to collect the data that is being collected here? How is the privacy going to impact it? What are the regulations? What are the standards? We have nothing at this point. No policies, no legislative solutions or responses on how to govern this. Of course, every country will have different ones, most likely. But is there going to be something that is going to govern it? If yes, how is that going to look like? Who's going to be in charge of it? Who's going to monitor AI for the good use? Who's going to be monitoring for ethical statements? And when we talk about promoting culture of responsibility, obviously releasing AI into the hands of general public is not always the right thing to do. So how are we going to educate all our users, the general public, but also business users, cybersecurity folks, the researchers and developers on how to use it? What about whistleblowing measures? If we see something that is being misused or has a backdoor, where are we going to report it? What are the standards? So let's think about a few things. How are we protecting these products, tools, and services today? Obviously, wrong data in, wrong data out could have a huge security and a safety impact for businesses, for governments, for politics, for traffic, for your regular day-to-day, for your friends, your family. How are we going to keep the data clean, secure, correct, not manipulated, and always accurate to really get the right information at the right time, at the right speed when it's needed? How are we going to protect algorithms? If you change the algorithm, even though the data might be good, it's going to be a problem. What about controls in AI if we see abnormal behavior? Is there a stop button somewhere? Who's going to push it? What's the process to push it? What is the right time to push it if we see something go wrong? And then within AI, do we have currently the capabilities built in to detect if the AI itself has been tampered with? And how? Are we monitoring? Are we going to monitor? Who's going to be the decision maker about who can control the capabilities of an AI? Is it going to be a group of people, a company that is putting it out? Is it going to be, who is it? What is it? What about the ethics? Are we going to put ethical process in there, legal safeguards? What about compensating controls? Are we testing it? Good example right here is the autonomous car driving. Autonomous car has a choice. I can't stop. I have a choice of hitting a pensioner crossing the wall, crossing the street, or going onto the sideway, and there's a little kid. Who's going to make that decision on programming the AI that way? How are we going to control it? And then, of course, how are we going to protect the AI from malfunctions, from technologies that it's running on? We're getting more and more information about hardware that has hard-coded doors in there, or hardware that comes from China or Russia or Korea that has back doors in there. Are we checking on what systems our AI is running or will be running? Are we as companies vetting how we're actually using this AI to help us grow our business, to help with the processes, to help us with our own security? Are we checking all this, or are we just relying on I guess it's all right. Overall, AI is pervasive. It is revolutionizing the world, and this is just the beginning. And it has the capacity for good and evil at the same time. I think it's our responsibility as users, as practitioners, as implementers, and also on the IT side, the ones that are creating it, to make sure we protect it, that we educate ourselves what it can or cannot do, how we should be using it, and we should be asking these questions, because that is the only way we can actually help this to be more on the good side than the evil side, because it has great capabilities, but we have to get there and we have to protect it. So with this, I will be opening up this for questions. And if you, after the event, have some questions for me, feel free to find me on LinkedIn, feel free to email me. I will be having several of these discussions and webinars and speaking engagements going forward. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining, and you will be finding this on YouTube as well. Thank you.